Hey YouTube, this is Kevin from Size Your Channel. I am back with a profile on KonoSuba with JP format. As you may have heard, Ian is getting a release of KonoSuba later this year before Full Circuit, so I will probably make an analysis or a tier list for Ian, featuring that set, I guess, before it actually comes out, because I pretty much know the ins and outs of all the builds. Also, BCF has gotten lists of KonoSuba for them that topped either in trios or neo standard. They have been pretty wild, notably because of foreign and all that. So I tried to parse through every list and see what trends they're doing. For the most part, oversized level zeros of 7 gates maybe. Are pretty consistent. If anything, a lot of builds had Eris and very little darkness, I guess. I mean, from the ones that topped. So I'm not sure if the whole field is doing that, or if it's just by chance that we don't see a lot of darkness in the field along with magic, even though they have the Maguro. So yeah, enough rambling. I'm gonna go through the deck list. So this is, as I said before, this is for JVP format. So yeah, this is running 4 of the Aqua level 0 that on play you take a card from your hand, put it in your clock, search out a goddess character. It's not really Ricky, but it's kind of free. You replace the card that you put in the clock, I guess. Mainly you search out the level 1 Eris, because I'm featuring that in this deck, so very solid. Also you can, if you have 2, by the time you hit level 2 for some reason, you can do that shenanigans where you search out level 32 Eris, you put another copy in the clock, and you have the early play condition. Next, I am running 3 of the Married Life Clone Aqua from the trial deck. I believe this is pretty good, because you're slamming climaxes every turn if you can, and if you prefer the tap 1k rather than this, because they both have front 5, that's pretty solid too. I think I've seen this having at least have 2 of them. So whatever your preference is, I like to slam climaxes every turn, so yeah, pretty solid. Next, I'm running 3 runners with the support of the Digital Climax Salvage character. So this is probably, as I said maybe before, I probably did because yeah. Anyway, this is probably the best support maybe for level 0s, but it's only on 4, but or only on 3. If you want to own 4, then you pretty much would put in 4 of these. So yeah, it's pretty good, and it has a color fix for me, because I'm running a red finisher. Next, I am running 3 of these. I don't want to say Rize, but it looks at top 3. But your cost a little heavier. Pay 1, discard 1. But then you can grab anything. So that's why he's here, because you want to get the book for the level 1. And if you don't, then you're kind of SOL if you don't get that book by the time you hit level 1. Next, I'm running 2 of the Brainstorms. Tap 2, search. And his climax combo is irrelevant, so I think that causes the rarity downgrade compared to Aaron. That's how I feel. But yeah, this is pretty much a little hint of what kind of finisher I'm playing, and yeah, it is pretty solid, because I don't run any self taps, so he's really good. And then 2 salvage Brainstorm Megamines also is a tattoo, and she gives level 0s in front 1k, so you can give your oversize or give oversize to your runner, your aqua, anything. Pretty much you put it in the front row. Primarily those 2 cards. So yeah, these are my top 2s, and you can, I guess you could, if you want to splash darkness, you can run the Takitsubou clone, but this is an aqua base or aerospace engine. I don't recommend that. So yeah. I'm running, for level 1, I'm running 4 of these Eris. If you have a Goddess on board with a book climax, when you play that book, you can take a card from your waiting room and put it on board, so you can get a free summon. Also, when you play a climax, she gains 15 until the end of the turn, so she is a 7k base on a 1k1 climax. I like it just because it's free advantage. You can coordinate your board, ease off your mulligan, do a lot of things. Pretty much a good engine, but it could, I mean, if you can play the 0/0 that you can drop ditch, that's pretty good too. I don't have room for it. Pretty much you guys can make room for it. But yeah, it's a very solid card. You really pretty much have a Mirrored Life in the back row, and then you the Aqua in the back row, and you can use this ability, or you can get another copy of her, and yeah, you're good to go. Next, I'm running 3 of these Aquas. You also could have this on the board, for a side note, with the level 1 Eris. She is like the Kirito from Uriet. When she's sent to the waiting room, you look at top 3. If you look up 1, you can add the Goddess or adventure character add to hand, discard 1. So yeah, pretty okay. I wish she had 500 per, like Kirito, but nope. Thank you, Bushy. Also, I'm running my choice of these 2 stock chargers. You pretty much need 2 stock to get her effect, because when you swing, you already have 3. You would get 3, and then if you swung, if you had 3 already, you swing, it would be 4. It wouldn't work like that. So yeah, this is pretty good when you you can spot a straggler or something when you hit level 1 first. If you hit level 1 first, yeah, this is pretty solid. Just to build that 1 stock. Finally, next is 3 Suiciders to play if your opponent has LE clones. They play the out to my want Haruka, the 1/1s that they may play, or oversized 1/0s. Very solid because you're kind of out of you're still in counter range if you swing with the Eris for like 7/5, 8/5. So this is something when you're like you know they have counters that can get over 8/5. And yeah, this is you can still play this, or you can play this from the waiting room with a level 1 Eris, so it's pretty solid. Also, you see a hand encore if you may want to do that hand encore. And the thing is, like, you play plusing triggers, so you know that's a consideration. But you mainly use it for Suicider effects. So yeah. And mainly, you don't want her to stay on board, so that's kind of like a contradiction there. One early play support, or NC early play support, because you kind of don't care. I mean, well, if they come in more than 2 or 2 or more, then you probably don't care. But getting 1 off, if they're like, if they feel like TP Ren, any of that profile where they just like have 1 for some reason, this is a good kill. It's a good kill, and the only cost is to discard 1, and yeah, it's a pretty solid counter. The level 2s, we're pretty much full of supports. So we have the Azusa 2-1 effect with the level assist from the TD Aqua. So I can only see to put in 1 in here because of some support I have in current with a finisher. So yeah, I only have 1 of her, 1 of the anti-level support for Eris. You don't play her first ability. You just pay 1, discard 2, summon a monster from, or summon a character from your where your room equal or lower to your level. You don't really do that unless you're so ahead. You can. Yeah, and then next is the 2-1. You give 500 to every goddess or adventurer character. 500 hit on core. And then your this pretty much gives out my finisher. If I have the Crimson Demon Megamine, I can, at the encore step, I can force my opponent to mill 1 and then take a card from their waiting room, put it on top of their deck. So potentially the Scry, I guess, for some reason. Climax, they leave it there. You know, some arbitrary reason them to do that because they may need it. You just deny them that, and you top deck something else. Okay, and then here I run 1 of the 2/5 or no, yeah, 2/5 counters. Almost vanilla, but if you by chance back up on an adventurer, it's a 3/5 counter. I would pretty much recommend you using the store promo, the Leafa counter, if you can. For level 3s, I'm running only 3 of the 3/2 Eris early plays. That can be early played with a 0/0 Aqua. Now I run 4 of. For the easy way out, I only run 3, but I think 3 is a good number because 1 can turn into 2 on play because you salvage it, you replace herself in the hand, so it's not like I'm not hurt that much, but at the same time I understand consistency is a thing. So yeah, this is for 3, and then a lot of people probably know the restanding ability. When you're a middle position character swings, you pay 1 ditch 2, reveal the top card. If it's Adventurer or Goddess, you restand this card. And yeah, really good finisher. Or a card to put your opponent on tilt. Probably after or before their second refresh. So depends if they can refresh fast enough. For this gun to be really almost deadly or lethal. Next, I'm running 3 Crimson Demon Megamines. This is my personal tech because I don't think I see this that much because because people run the gates in their decks, so but they don't use them at all. But I think this is a pretty solid card. If you can plus your opponent, or you can pretty much kill something on your opponent's board, you +1 on this. Also, it's kind of like taking a card from their hand because they can potentially swing at you for 1 just to ping or like you know, small damage at you. So that's a pretty good plus side on this card. And then if your opponent isn't compressed well, you can deal 5 on the encore step. The cost is to ditch 1. So I think it's something that should be played more, I believe. Yeah, the middle one is pretty solid too, just because, or like, so you can somehow not take the damage that you. I mean, you would potentially take. So it sounds like almost the same as a mill runner. So I mean, the consensus of using a mill runner. throughout the game, maybe that top mill ability. So yeah, I'm running 3 of these. So, in testing, it's been doing pretty well. Mainly, I filled 1 or 2. Yeah. I guess you can, do that, but I really like the 3. Next, I'm running 2 of these level 32 Aquas. 3 is an iffy number because you would actually want the 4th Eris, but for me, I think this is pretty solid because if your opponent can't kill your cards past level 2, then you probably would have enough stock to go 3. Make your opponent have 6 or less climaxes left in the deck if they may still have them in stock, or yeah. So I think this is a good card in tandem with the Restender. Also a blowout card versus this when you're pinging for your opponent a lot. So yeah, I really like this card. It kind of fits the decompression mindset of what's been doing pretty well lately in GB, which are compression decks. Also with good finishers. Climaxes, I'm running 4 book and 4 gates. The default, I guess, because I'm running those combos. Okay, so I'm going to do a little mulligan parts. So I'm going to edit, or maybe, oh no, actually never mind. I think I'll just do it like this. So this will be a little longer. For matchups, I believe any A+ tier can handle this deck pretty easily because they have so much utility. If they have just because they have more sets, and also I'm still on the fence of where to put this build, this series in particular. So if you guys want to chime in on that, you can. Put it down below. See where this deck, have a discussion where this deck or this series is on the tier list. So yeah, we're like the most part. I think it's bottom A, just to be a little nice. But that could also mean it could be like middle B+ too. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little shuffle here. So okay, so your opponent cuts. So let's say you're going first. You know what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is a pretty good hand. So you have the level 1. You have this, and you potentially have a discard out to play this, and you have like a throwaway level 0 that you can field. But honestly, I think you can mill or mull this and just go here. Pretty nice here. So yeah. And then you go, if you go first, you draw 1, or no, you clock, or yeah, you draw 1, you clock this, you draw 2, and yeah, you're kind of in a slump because you already drew these 2. It's kind of okay. So yeah, because having these 2 and this is pretty good, I believe. And then if you replace this with the runner, and it'll be almost perfect. Or discard or one of these for the runner. But actually opening this is probably a little pretty viable because you can get her effect off if you can draw the climax. So yeah, I'll do 4 more of these, and then do a couple more going second, and then that'll be the video. I don't think there's any much difference of this card. It's deck going second, so I'm not sure if I can. Okay, so what we have here, this is kind of like a good testing here. You probably want to keep this, drop these. Okay, so you go here, clock, you open runner, so that's good. You have the climax. Oh my god, that's a really good hand. Because no matter what damage you take, it's pretty much viable if they're cost 0, because you have this and this for you to play at level 1. So you can have your opponent level you up to level 1, and you're pretty much good to go. 3 more to go. You probably add out the shuffling, but it's okay. They're not that long. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, see, we're looking almost consistent. So I think you would actually ditch this and this, and you open runner and a 3-2 Harris, and then you clock. I guess you could clock in Harris. They're refundable. Okay, so you're kind of good. You have to draw into climax, so that's a little thing you probably need to do if you have this handful of characters. So that's not that bad, but when you start canceling with the specific climax, you're kind of into trouble. So yeah, it's probably the worst hand that I've pretty much shown compared to the last two. So number 4. And that cuts 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy shit. Okay, now this is kind of a okay. Now I take that other hand back. This is probably your worst hand. So you can drop these 3 because they can be played from the waiting room. Okay, so you're in a bad predicament here because you only have this and you're already shown 2 gates. And yeah, smooth sailing for you, or for me, whatever. You draw 1. Not really smooth sailing. 1, and then oops. Yeah, you're kind of screwed a little bit, but you're not dead. It's just you need to play a little bit conservatively. Well, if you do have. So let's say your level 1 play is out the window. You still get a 7k base on the level 1 Eris if you do this, salvage something. Yeah, you have a 7k base or on the Eris, so you can still reverse things. It's just you won't get any pluses off of it from the way if you can't get to that book. So yeah. You can see how this deck can be a little inconsistent, just merely getting the book into hand. And then you try to draw into the 0/0 KonoSuba that has that reset ability. Alright, this is the last one going first. I really don't, as I said before, I really don't think going second really matters. Okay, so this is a pretty decent hand because you have these 2, and then you have 2 cards to ditch immediately. So you have the Suicider and the counter, and look at that. We have a really good hand. You just need to draw into that climax. You draw 1, you can clock a Suicider, and then you're kind of, you just need to find that climax and you're good. You can ditch this. Let's get salvage something, maybe. you have the second runner, and yeah, one more. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, now we have the climax here, so we can ditch these two. Go here, go here. Okay, so this turns into an heiress, and this can be played. You can either, yeah, you pretty much want to have that in hand, and yeah. So you draw. You clock this, you draw 2. Okay, now you have things that you can discard if you draw into the 0/0 KonoSuba, so let's look at top 4. Okay, so you're not in, so you're probably canceling here, and if you just swing for 2 or 3, I think it's not that bad of a start. It's just you need to mill things a little quicker. So let's say you brainstorm, or for some reason, yeah. So you need to mill up a lot quicker in this kind of a mulligan, and yeah, pretty much anything. If you are pretty experienced, then you should have no problems. So 2 hands going second. We're gonna default and then opening runner. So I mean that's probably their best play of anything, if anything. So you ditch 2. Okay, so this is pretty good. Even if you don't, if you're not able to play him first turn. So you have this. Okay. So you gonna clock this. Okay, you're kind of in a predicament because you're already showing 3. Well, yeah, screw my shuffling. Alright, one more. Well, with this build, there's nothing to do against level 0 oversize, so that can be a little, they tri-filled you, because we don't need to reverse things, so that may very be possible for them to do. Anyone can tri-fill you unless they have runner, like for their second turn. Alright, now we're in business. This could be the best hand, potentially be the best hand. Okay, so we just ditching 2. Okay, now since we already have the climax here, this turns into a level 1 heiress. This can be your runner. This is probably the best hand because you can do this, clock whatever. For this example, you want to, I guess I'll clock that, or no, draw first. Let's see what this is. Okay, yeah, now you want to clock this. Yeah, you are doing pretty well. Because turn 2, you probably want to use her ditch out more than her running up, or prioritize the ditch out, because your opponent may want to run against this anyway. So yeah, unless they do oversize, then they'll pretty much kill this. Same thing for a runner. If they tri-filled you for some reason, then yeah, the runner dies. So if you're going second, this is a pretty good hand. You play this, and then the next turn you play the KonoSuba. So let's say you take 2 damage off the runner, you cancel, and then you draw 1. You clock is the obvious clock target. Okay, so you play the KonoSuba, you pay 1, you ditch 1, you probably want to ditch a climax. Oh, no, you probably paid out the climax already, so you want to ditch the suicide, or you look at top 3, and you can grab this pretty much. Save this. So yeah. Yeah. This deck is more combo based than the decks that run 7 gates and like use gates that don't actually use combos because of this card. And yeah, it's more of a Hail Mary play, but when it works, if it works, then it could be something to look forward to in the end. And yeah, this is Kevin signing out. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks again.